Remember the beef between 28 Days Later and Shaun of the Dead? Well, we do. We finally got a belated sequel to 28 Days Later, the 2002 horror hit that, in retrospect, looks like it was shot with the same camcorder used to document your uncle's wedding, which was apparently a choice made by the filmmakers to make the movie seem more gritty. And it's no surprise that 28 years later is being made since the original film became so beloved, despite its frame rate. But 2 decades ago, Danny Boyle's acclaimed horror thriller pseudo-zombie movie took some heat from the young British whippersnappers who made the parody Shaun of the Dead. Even though its title more specifically calls out Dawn of the Dead, the ending of Shaun of the Dead specifically mocks 28 Days Later. As you may recall, the humanoid creatures of Boyle's film were the victims of a contagion known as the Rage virus, presumably because the tweaked out zombie sprinter virus would have been a little too on the nose. In the final moments of Edgar Wright's zombie comedy, a TV news anchor states that all reports that Z-Day was caused by rage-infected monkeys have now been dismissed as bull. Edgar Wright even admitted later that was our little jibe at 28 Days Later, revealing that it was actually his voice delivering the line. The bitterness toward 28 Days Later seemed to be less about the movie itself and more the way the filmmakers talked about it in the press. At the time, Edgar Wright told Film Freak Central, "My beef with 28 Days Later is that Danny Boyle really tried to take the air out of the genre. He said he didn't like them, didn't respect them or something, and insisted on calling his film a thriller or something like that, and I didn't like that." It's true that the filmmakers did downplay the zombie-like elements of 28 Days Later, since the apocalyptic monsters were arguably just rage-infected humans with the ability to run like the wind. In 2003, Danny Boyle said, "We were very worried about people thinking it was a zombie movie, because I think if you're a zombie fan, you'll be disappointed. I thought of it as a science fiction film that happens next Wednesday." More recently, though, the film's screenwriter Alex Garland attempted to clear up this controversy once and for all. He said, "I'm aware for years and years that there's been debates about that, over whether or not it's a zombie movie. It's a zombie movie. Whatever the technical discrepancies may or may not exist, they're pretty much zombies." The folks behind Shaun of the Dead had another reason to be annoyed at 28 Days Later. As Simon Pegg had noted when he and Wright began writing their film, they thought that they were resurrecting a dead genre and would be ahead of the curve. But then they found out about Boyle's project when they were in the middle of writing the Shaun script. Edgar Wright said, "I was so mad, I was absolutely livid, because I was like, no, we're doing a zombie film." Although in hindsight, he now believes that the popularity of 28 Days Later may have actually been a blessing. And as he once proudly pointed out, Shaun of the Dead ended up outgrossing 28 Days Later in the UK. Just don't hold your breath for a sequel.